where do I start? So today I'm coming to you guys because I want to talk about something that's been weighing down on my heart all week. And if you haven't been watching the news, haven't heard about the events that have taken place all over the United States this past week, you need to stay informed. And I say this because I have a son who'll be 2 in September. Oh Jesus. And I'm afraid for his life. I'm afraid for him to grow up in the world that we live in, knowing that he might be shut down by someone who we tell them to trust, to obey, and someone who we think are here to protect. Someone who we think who are here to protect them. And it hurts because I grew up thinking that they were here to protect us. They are here to protect and serve us. And they're the utmost of authority that we pretty much come in contact with here in America. And it hurts me to see these executions go on and on all across the world. And they are televised and there's nothing happening. There's no justice that I'm seeing being done. And it hurts me to my heart. If you guys haven't watched the news, there was two black men who recently got murdered. One of them, his execution, Antoine's execution is what I'm going to call it, because that's what it is. It was an execution, and it was recorded and broadcasted on all networks, all of the news networks. It was broadcasted all over pretty much every social media page and everything. And we're calling for justice. We want justice for this man. This was my very first time seeing someone lose their life. So, like I was saying, in the video you can actually see his life just leave, like his soul just leave his body. And when he died, he went into shock, and you can see him leaving. And I've never seen that before. You guys may know, you may not know, it depends on how long you've been following me here on YouTube. But I was in the U.S. Army Reserve. I was in the U.S. Army Reserve for six years before I got pregnant with my daughter and got out. So it appalls me that the world that we live in, the world that the vow that I took when I enlisted was to serve America and to defend this country from terrorists, both foreign and domestic. And to see that those domestic terrorists that we have in our society today are the police, the people who were put in place to protect us, who took that oath as well as I did to protect America. It's tearing it down, chopping black folks, executing us right on live TV, or executing us one by one. They ask us all the time, where are the men in America? Where are the black men? Where are the fathers? One, they're either locked up because of what people may not know, the new Jim Crow. Asks us, where are the men, these fathers that are supposed to be raising up these kids? They're in America because you locked them up over petty charges, or you lock them up over simple drug charges where murderers get out in like 2 years, but you bust them down to a lifetime sentence for drug possession. Come on, America, we gotta do better. As a group, we have to unite and stand tall against our black men and do better. It's ridiculous that this stuff is going on. And you ask us again now, where are the black men? You are chopping them down one by one. Since you can't keep them locked up, now they're getting out because the jails are overpopulated. You say, oh, well, what's the next best thing to do? Alright, we'll chop you down one by one. We'll execute you off. And for those of you saying, well, what about the five police officers that were shot and killed, and the people that the police officers that were injured, and the 2 civilians that was injured down in Dallas? That was domestic terrorism also. I do not go along with what happened to those police officers. 2 wrongs do not make a right. I will say it again. That was just horrendous, and it does not put into context how all black people feel. Just like I believe that all cops are not bad. My father-in-law protected people down in this small town that we're from, and he was a police officer. He vowed to protect and serve. So no, I do not think all cops are bad. But we do have those bad apples down here in America who chop down black citizens in America, pump them up on phony charges, and get away with it. I'm not done. Now I want to talk about the whole situation that went on with the police shooting. Not with Alton, but the next, I think the next couple days. Fernando Casteel, who was a food service worker for school. And so yeah, routine traffic stop, supposed to have been for a busted tail light, which come to find out now they're saying there was not a busted tail light. They didn't have one. So yeah, stop for a busted tail light. He had a license to carry a weapon. And if you know anything about laws or whatever about the law, if you are permitted to carry a weapon on you, you have to, if you get stopped by any law enforcement or come in contact with law enforcement in that type of manner, you have to make it aware to the officers involved that you are licensed to carry a weapon. There's a weapon on you or in your vicinity. So when he was pulled over, he let the officer know that he was licensed to carry a weapon. The officer proceeds to tell him that he needed his license and registration, but he had it where most people keep it, in their armrest. So he reached for it and was shot multiple times. And he was just, it's crazy when you're stopped for a routine traffic stop. You have no violations on you, no type of record, and they just fear you because they feared it. To me, they feared him because he was a black man. He was a really tall, like a bigger black man or whatever, and they feared him because he was this black man. And the police officer shot him 4 to 6 times, something of that sort. They shot him multiple times in a car with his fiance, and not only that, her daughter was also in the car. And this just shocks me to my bone because I can only imagine my daughter being in a car if something like that happened with me and my husband. Because I mean, if you don't know, my husband is a bigger guy or whatever. He's not just your average Joe type of guy. He's like he's bigger than your average Joe. So, and his demeanor, some people might be pushed off by it because he's like straight up with you, and he keeps it 100. So, and then he has, to me, I said, he has like this little angry, mean mug face, and they would say like, females, you would call it like the resting bitch face or something like that. But yeah, that's his face, his normal face. It's just how he looks. And so yeah, so I can only imagine my daughter being in a car and something like that happens with her in the car. If you know anything about guns or anything, you know that a bullet can ricochet. You can be off by a millimeter. It can go through the seat and hit this child that's in the back seat. Anything could happen. That little girl could have been injured. By the grace of God, she was saved in that situation. And she was so strong in the aftermath of the entire thing, that she told her mama, "Mommy, I'm right here. It's gonna be okay." Like, she knew this guy died in her stepdad, so to speak, died right in front of her face, and she had to go through all this. She would have to go through this for the rest of her life. She would have to relive this situation. She'll probably be one of those people that fear the cops. They don't want to go to the cops if something even happens to her because of this situation that happened right in front of her. How can you tell this little girl that she's safe in an environment that we put her in, and this situation happened to her? There's no way that you can justify this situation. He can't say that, oh, this guy was reaching for the gun, when he already told you that he had this permit to carry this concealed weapon on him. So I call bullshit on the whole thing. It's crazy. It's just crazy that this type of thing is still going on today. It is really crazy, and it's disgusting. Oh, Jesus. And how do we raise our daughters and our sons the way we were raised, to not fear the police, to be able to go to them if something happens or something or anything like that? How can we tell our child that the police are here to protect you, you're safe, just go to them if you need them? We can't, because now in the environment they living in, they will ultimately fear the police. They will not want to be confronted by the police. They will not even want to stop when they if they say they're speeding. Police behind you, you won't even want to stop. Mind-boggling to me that, to just think about, well, someone said to me, well, you know, we weren't meant to be here, as we were never meant to be seen as being equal. And I'm like, now, so I asked, I was like, well, what do you mean? It was like, well, we were brought here from Africa. Well, our ancestors were brought here from Africa. They were brought here in handcuffs, in chains, and that's where they want to keep you guys. Yeah, so yeah, she was like, yeah, you guys weren't brought here as people. You were brought here as property. You were brought here to serve and to make white people's lives better, not to better your own. And so that's the system that they are trying to keep you guys in, because they don't want you guys to succeed and be more prominent or more glorious than they are. It's ridiculous how we sit back and we are not aware of the things that are going on or about the laws that are in place. We need to stand up, unite, and be educated in this thing together. And I'm just saying this in response because it's heavy. Like, all of this is like a cloud over me, and it's like, we have this platform, YouTube, social media like Facebook, Instagram. We're promoting all of these brands and these companies, but we're saying nothing about what is taking place in America. And I think that is absolutely despicable. Us as black women, we should stand behind our men. We should stand behind them and build them up, and not help the society that we live in tear them down. So with that being said, if you have a child, your uncles, your family, even your sisters, your aunts, they could be the next Sandra Bland. You never know. So I just say, don't take your life for granted. Don't take the people around you's life for granted. Hold them close, kiss them, tell them you love them, because you never know, this could be their last. They could go out and get stopped by the police. You never know. They could be the next hashtag on social media, and we don't want that. So let's stand up, unite as a group, equality for all, and make this world a better place for the upcoming generations, our sons, our daughters, our grandchildren that are going to be born. We need to make this world we live in a better place. We need to come together in love. Like I said, we need to come together as a people. Even white people, you guys have seen these injustices go on and haven't said anything. You turn a blind eye to what's going on in front of you, and it's like, hear no evil, see no evil. No, that is not right. You need to speak up, because this is crazy. You need to speak up as a group and say, this is wrong. They are people, human beings just like we are. that's all I have to say for today, because I don't want to start back crying. So if you have any comments, just leave them down below. I will take the likes and dislike buttons off, because most people, you know, we have people that will like, we'll have trolls in the comment section. So it is what it is. But I have a right to speak my mind, and that's just what I'll continue to do until something is done. I will continue to speak my mind and call out all of these injustices that I see, because it's crazy. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Later, dolls.